It is time I continue my series on Thai entertainment companies, and today I'm tackling the company that tends to be the most compared to GMMTV, Nadao Bangkok. So while I focused on GMMTV's marketing techniques in my video on them, because I personally think that's what they're the best at, I will not only focus on Nadao Bangkok's marketing today. Not because I think they're bad at marketing, in fact I think they're very good at their job, especially for their Thai demographic. Though they tend to really ignore international fans, contrarily to other companies, by not providing English subtitles on their shows when they're put on YouTube, and for mostly having their shows on Thai-specific streaming platforms that are not accessible to international fans. 1 out of the 2 times they put their shows with English subtitles on their YouTube channels, they removed it. Which I'm still bitter about because Project Test Skater Souls is my favorite series of all time, and Project Test Side by Side is also one of my favorites. I will not focus on Nadao's marketing, though I will talk about it, because for me that's not where their biggest strength lies. What Nadao Bangkok excels at is putting quality over quantity. See? That's the title right there. How does Nadao Bangkok work? So despite being regarded as one of GMMTV's biggest competitor, Nadao Bangkok is actually under the same company as them, GMM Grammy. It was created in 2009 under GTH, which was the predecessor to GDH, the leading movie company in Thailand. And you will see that the link between these two companies is really important for Nadao, as a lot of their actors have acted in GDH movies. The concept of Nadao Bangkok varies a little bit from GMMTV, which seems to be a lot more set apart from the other companies under GMM Grammy. Basically, how I see it is 3 categories for the different sub-companies under GMM Grammy. By the way, if you want to know about them, I really advise you watch my video on why the Thai entertainment industry is so small and the history of GMMTV. But basically you have the GMMTV category that exists on its own separate level because they are very secluded, producing their own shows, music videos, and now with together the movies. And that first category is by far the most successful abroad, GMMTV being the company that dominates the Thai series international market. Then you have the second category, which is GDH and Nadao, which is actually the most well-known and respected in Thailand. With Nadao Bangkok, as I said, being often in GDH movies, Jailer in Tootsies and the Fake, Paris in Ghost Lab, Bilkin in Brother of the Year, and I could go on and on and on. Whereas GMMTV actors could never. Most probably because their contracts don't allow them to. And then the third category is the rest, with smaller companies that have produced a few things, but clearly aren't as well known as GMMTV, Nadao and GTH. And the way Nadao functions in itself is both pretty different from GMMTV, but also sort of similar. For example, both companies have a signed cast of actors and directors they keep working with. That being said, where they differ is in terms of size. GMMTV having more than 100 actors signed to them and 20 or more directors, while Nadao has only 30 and less than 10 directors. And GMMTV, as I said, produces everything inside of its company. It is both an actors management company and a production company. Whereas Nadao works a bit differently, in a way that is first and foremost an actors management company that matches their talents to projects. But they do have series that are Nadao Bangkok series, from returning directors they often work with. But all series with Nadao actors are not Nadao series. The biggest example being Bad Genius the series, which has Nadao talents like Paris and Nana, yet is a GDH series since it's a remake of a GDH movie. That being said, while GMMTV's distribution is already assured on TV by GMM25 or 131, on their YouTube channel for international fans, and then a streaming platform for the longest timeline TV, which has now competitors like WeTV, VU, and IES Play. But Nadao shows distribution is a little more all over the place. Nadao shows are often needing a platform since they don't post their shows on YouTube and don't work as closely with TV channels. So often what happens is that nadao shows will become line TV originals, only streaming on there, which means difficulty of accessibility for international fans, which we will talk about in a little while. The shows that are not line TV originals can be aired on different TV channels like GTH On Air, which doesn't exist anymore, 131, and only for Project S, GMM25. So like I said, distribution is a little more all over the place for nadao. Now let's get to the origins of the company before we can analyze everything a bit further. So as I said, Nadao Bangkok was created in 2009 under GTH. And firstly, mostly focused on talent management for GTH actors. Which again furthers what I'm saying about the exchanges between the two companies. But what definitely launched Nadao as we know it today is their decision to produce their first series ever in 2013, as the company was struggling to make a profit until then. And that series has become an iconic part of the Thai series industry. And that's Hormones, of course. Hormones was an instant hit, prompting 2 other seasons in 2014 and 2015, which is extremely promising for a first series. But for me, it mostly showed that Nadao knew how to take risks and knew their demographic really well from the start. Just like GMMTV with their series, but pushing it even further, Nadao leaned into the shocking nature of adolescence, with various topics that hadn't been explored on Thai TV before, especially not with teenage characters. Sex, drugs, alcohol, abortion, lies, betrayal, HIV, same-sex relationships. This show was a trailblazer in terms of everything. It completely pushed the conservatism of Thai media until then, and was in fact one of its first series ever made compared to lakorns, soap operas that are much longer and air multiple times a week, and were really the norm in Thailand until about a decade ago. Hormones, even though it's not a perfect show by any means, really resonated with people and absolutely launched the Nadao actors into stardom. In 2015, Nadao released the last season of Hormones with a mostly new cast, as well as stayed the series with Kao Supasara and P. Sunny, with also some of these new generation actors that had appeared in the last season of Hormones, like James Tiradon and Bang Titi. That show was a bit more adult, not necessarily because of the darker themes. In fact, I would say this show is lighter than Hormones, but it did show Nadao's wish to not only cater to teenagers, but adults as well. In 2016, they released Jutira with Pachayanit and Obniti, which is a show almost completely unknown as it was never subbed for international fans, and as far as I know, it didn't get much success in Thailand either. On the heels of Hormones though, they released I Hate You, I Love You, a dark teen series that went even further than Hormones and was to me a really well done series, especially containing some of the Hormones cast on top of that. In 2017 we have Project S, a series that contains 4 separate stories around sports. It was a pretty popular series, especially side by side with Tortanapab, who is regarded by many as one of the best Thai actors out there, especially one of the youngest ones. And I can say I disagree. Project S was a bit more catered towards young adults, dealing with topics like depression and autism with a lot of respect in the eyes of many. In 2018 there was another turn for Nadao as they produced their first lakorn, which reminder is a Thai soap opera in Family We Trust. This was in collaboration with Phonologue, a music production company with which they formed 9x9, a temporary boy group which gathered immense success because it contained a lot of already popular actors such as James Tiradon, Tortanapab, Jailer, and Captain, as well as trained singers such as Paris, Jackie, Third, Porsche, and Ryu. That group honestly introduced a lot of people to T-pop and is extremely iconic for that. But yeah, basically the whole boy group started in the lakorn in Family We Trust, which had a lot more budget and production value than a basic lakorn, really established and famous actors, as well as amazing acting that established the Nadao actors even further, including Tortanapab, who again won all of the awards for that. And then the next year, in 2019, we got another 9x9 show. This time popular both in Thailand and internationally, Great Men Academy. Once again, you've got this super successful boy group that's genuinely friends behind the scenes. The show is well written and produced, and it also taps into the genre Thailand is known for, BL of course. And Great Men Academy is really the show that put Nadao Bangkok on the map for me, and I'm sure for many people. The same year, another popular show, though that was more in Thailand, was My Ambulance, with a really well-known cast, including Mai Davika, who's one of the most successful actresses in Thailand, a soundtrack by Paris and Perwa, which was the first Nadao music song and was a huge hit. I will talk about that in a bit. This show was really huge. But one thing happened in it that led the fans to be really mad, and it was, big spoiler, the killing of Bilkin's character, who had been heavily hinted at having a romance with PP's character. And the fans were so mad that what happened? In 2020, I Told Sunset About You was released with Bilkin and PP as reparation for My Ambulance. And in terms of popularity, this is the only Nadao show that I think could rival Hormone's popularity. That show was huge. Again, BL is an enormously successful market, so the show immediately garnered international fans' attention as well as Thai BL fans. But more than that, the fact that it came from My Ambulance, a really popular straight series, brought even more people to watch it. And I can't not talk about the execution, which is always good when it comes from Nadao. Yet here it was on a level of perfection that still baffles me to this day. And the acting was so excellent it put Bilkin and PP on the map, and they're now two of the biggest Thai actors. Editing Axel, I completely forgot about Quarantine Stories. I feel like it's not counted as an official Nadao show, and that's why it doesn't appear on Wikipedia, but it's a real Nadao show. So in 2020, Nadao released Quarantine Stories with almost all of their Nadao actors, with one episode directed by each of their directors. And each episode has its own story. It's on YouTube with subs, so it's another Nadao show that is on YouTube with English subtitles, and it's a really good show, so I would recommend it. In 2021, Blackout, a short series filmed vertically and using revolutionary techniques, was released. To very much no hype at all, which is absolutely a crime because production-wise, this show is absolutely insane. And it's also now the only Nadao show that is available on YouTube with English subtitles. So like, why are you not watching it? And then also this year, I Promise You the Moon, a very controversial sequel to I Told Sunset About You, which I have a full video on, so I will spare you me being still bitter about it, and I'll let you watch it. And overall, from all of this, you can see another way that Nadao has separated themselves from GMMTV, and it's their release rate. As we saw in my GMMTV video, the company keeps increasing the number of series it's releasing every year, whereas Nadao has kept a steady release rate of only 1 or 2 series a year for the last 8 years. That makes it so while the company is less profitable because of that, it is rightfully regarded as the quality over quantity version of GMMTV that does the exact opposite. By only focusing on a few projects every year, Nadao really put their all into it, which almost always tend to mean better quality overall. The Nadao cast. So one thing that has already been established about the Nadao cast in this video is that there are a lot fewer than GMMTV. That being said, 30 actors is still a lot. And what's interesting about Nadao is that their actors are not due a project every year like GMMTV. For example, it's extremely rare to see a GMMTV actor star in 0 series in a year. Whereas because Nadao produces only 1 or 2 series every year, of course some actors are gonna get left out. Though that doesn't mean they don't get projects outside of Nadao. The second thing that seems to separate the Nadao cast from GMMTV is that they are more admired and praised, especially in Thailand. As I've said, the Nadao cast has won multiple acting awards, and their shows almost never fail to get uploaded on an official level, as every Nadao show gets attention since there's only a couple a year. And I do believe the quality before quantity idea of the company also translates in the script, which translates into the acting. And the biggest contributing factor to the Nadao cast being highly regarded in Thailand is the flexibility of their contracts. One of my biggest issues with GMMTV in my first video was the fact that most GMMTV actors can't act outside of GMMTV projects, whereas Nadao actors are very often in other series, including GMMTV ones, and especially GDH movies. I told you the link between these two companies is really important. And obviously when you're in a movie of the leading movie producer in Thailand, you are gonna get more recognition. And apart from that, actors are able to leave the company and come back if they want to, like James Tiradon that Nadao said they would welcome back if he wanted to come back. And other companies very rarely operate that way. Jailer left Nadao Music but is still with Nadao Bangkok, which is super random and heartbreaking for me, his #1 stan. but also kinda awesome because no other company would accept that. Nadao music. Speaking of Nadao music, I want to dedicate a full section to it because I'm fascinated. Nadao music functions pretty similarly to GMMTV Records, that mostly releases songs to accompany shows and variety shows. Yet even their soundtrack music videos seem higher in quality than GMMTV's in my opinion. And I've also managed to branch out into actual music better than GMMTV in my opinion too. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. GMMTV Records is still very successful. And GMMTV crushes Nadao in terms of net worth and success, especially abroad. That being said, for some reason Nadao music seems to be more accepted as a serious business venture than GMMTV once again. Created in 2019, Nadao music clearly wanted to be like GMMTV Records, as it was used for the My Ambulance soundtrack at first, with songs like Love Message by Sunny and Sky, Heartbeat by My Davika, It's Okay by Tanung, and most notably their first song ever and still their most successful to this day, My Ambulance by Paris and Perwa. And this song was huge, garnering more than 200 million views, which is a very rare thing for Thai songs on YouTube. So from their first song, Nadao music was successful, which is in line with their first series Hormones, which was also very successful. I don't know how, but success seems to follow Nadao pretty easily. But right after these first songs, Nadao immediately went into producing songs for the artists interested in making music. We can see that only a couple of Nadao actors have sung on Nadao music, whereas I would say that more than half of the GMMTV actors have sung a song at least once. And I do think that contributes to Nadao music's legitimacy, for which music is not a requirement to all of its actors, but offered to the actors who are interested and trained musically, such as Bilkin with his single My Everything, Jailer and Paris from 9x9 that had just been disbanded with Unexpected, Nana, Captain, and then they went into full-blown soundtrack mania again with Aito Sunset About You, with multiple songs, some even sung in Chinese to keep with the theme of the show, and many being sung not only by Bilkin originally but also by PP. And now in 2021, with the huge success of Aito Sunset About You, Bilkin has released 2 singles and PP 1, which have done very well. I do think there has been some marketing failures for Nadao, notably with Jailer's EP, which is incredibly underrated and didn't get the love it deserves, and even Jailer and Paris' latest duo single, which I personally believe have prompted Jailer to leave Nadao music, even though he's still part of Nadao Bangkok. Despite that, I would still say that Nadao music is a frank success, especially for a company that has only started 2 years ago. And there's no doubt that their music production and music videos are incredibly high quality, and honestly I'm really excited to see where they go next. Lack of accessibility. But now, just like I criticized GMMTV, I must criticize Nadao on the one thing I feel they're not only failing, but holding themselves back: accessibility. As I said in my intro, Nadao has only provided a way for international fans to watch their shows officially twice, and one was for Project Test in 2017, which has been deleted since. Blackout is the only show that is still on YouTube with subtitles. But honestly, my question would be, for how long? There are other shows that are available raw on their channel, like In Family We Trust, My Ambulance, and New Tirao. But once again, that is not accessible to international fans, as most of them don't speak Thai. Apart from that, all of the Nadao shows are fan subbed, meaning that since the raw footage is always unsubbed and most of the time not accessible to international fans, the responsibility falls on fan subbers to make the series actually watchable for us. It was especially the case for Great Men Academy, which again attracted a whole new public for Nadao, as it was their first series that could fall under the label of BL. Yet I remember that I had to interrupt my watch of the show as it was airing, because I had to wait forever after each episode aired to get the subs. The quality was absolutely atrocious, and it just didn't feel like it was worth the hassle. And once again, all of the other Nadao shows have been fan subbed, which means that fans have to watch the show illegally to be be able to watch it in the first place, which not only lessens our viewing experience to have to watch it in bad quality, but is entirely counterproductive from the company to not want the views from their viewers. You make shows to be watched. Views equal money. I don't get it. It just makes no sense. But nadao also tried something else with I Told Sunset About You, an extremely anticipated watch, and it was to pay $12 the episode to get it subbed. And I'm pretty sure there was also a thing where you could only watch it a certain amount of time, or like for a limited amount of time. Like, what the hell? I'm genuinely not trying to sound mean, but I know how series fans work. Especially Thai drama fans who have had to search through the whole internet to find series until a couple of years ago. And you really think that people are gonna pay to watch your series? Oh darling. Like, I have no doubt that some people pay to support the series, and that's completely valid of them. But I think that most people, including myself, prefer to pay the company by watching ads rather than literally taking money out of their wallets. That marketing technique was hugely criticized, and for me it really flopped because I am certain that most people watch the show illegally, like all of the others. So I hope that nadao doesn't try to implement that again. For me, it's simply ludicrous to not turn to GMMTV that has figured it out years ago and again is under the same goddamn company, since almost all of their shows end up on Line TV or another streaming service. They could simply put their shows with subtitles on their YouTube channel and location block Thai people from accessing them, just like GMMTV has always done. Thai people would get to watch the show on Line TV or another streaming platform, and we would get to watch it officially with subs on YouTube. Everyone would be supporting the shows officially, giving it money by watching ads, and it would just cut down on illegal streaming and the overall messiness that involves watching nadao shows. Frankly, if nadao got better on that aspect, I personally think they'd be unstoppable because I don't have anything else negative to say about them. A definitive ranking of nadao Bangkok series. And finally, just like GMMTV, I'm going to end this video by ranking all of the nadao series I've watched. Thankfully, there's like 5 times less series to go through, so I can go into a bit more detail than just say the series name. Sadly, there is only one nadao show that I haven't managed to watch, though obviously once I become fluent in Thai, I will, because it has Pacha in it and Obniti, which I really love, but it's Yutirao. It's on YouTube, but without English subtitles, and as far as I know, there is no subbed version of the series anywhere online. So yeah, sadly this show won't be in my ranking. So for the shows I adore, we have very obviously Project S Skater Souls. The best Thai drama that has literally changed my life. No, I am not exaggerating, and I will make a full video about it because I will simply never shut up about this wonderful gem of a show. And we also obviously have I Told Sunset About You, for which my love was tested by its sequel, but is still going strong. Both of these shows are the 2 series ever to have gotten a 10 out of 10 from me. So just saying, they are truly perfection, and it says a lot about nadao. Then for the shows I love, we have Project S Side by Side, an incredibly touching story and one of the best acting performances I've ever witnessed. There's also In Family We Trust, that I would definitely recommend if you want to ease into the world of Lacorns. A really thrilling and great watch in my opinion. Then we have a show I really love, though I don't think it's perfect in any way, Great Men Academy. This show has some inconsistencies, but a very strong world building and a really great story in my opinion. It's also the first nadao show I've ever watched, so it will be forever special to me. The shows I really like are I Hate You, I Love You, a really thrilling short series that was executed quite well in my opinion. Blackout, which is also a thrilling short series that I found extremely underrated considering it uses techniques I've never seen used before. And Homos, that is definitely the best Thai teen series I've seen to this day, and opened up a lot of possibilities for other series with the same demographic in Thailand. Editing Axel once again. Quarantine Stories would be here. It's a really cute show. It's not groundbreaking, but for a show filmed on lockdown with all of their actors and different directors, I really enjoyed it. For the shows I'm okay with, there's Project S Shoot I Love You, which is a fine show that I do have my gripes with, but I still overall somewhat enjoyed. There's also Stay, which is an alright series. It has its endearing moments and the acting was really good. I also really enjoyed the setting in Japan, but apart from that, honestly, it was a bit too predictable and nothing much happened in my opinion. And then we also have Project S Spike, which I had high hopes for since its main character is bisexual, but sadly didn't do much for me. I think especially because I watched this one after Side by Side and Skate alligator souls, which are the cream of the crop. This was pretty disappointing to me. And finally, these shows I dislike. The good thing is that compared to GMMTV, I don't even have a category for the shows I hate, so yay. These two shows are really obvious to anyone who watches my channel because I talk shit about them pretty often. But first we have My Ambulance. Now, my vendetta against My Ambulance is very petty and kinda random. Frankly, it's not even that bad of a show, but it frustrates me that so much budget and acting talent went into such a disappointing series. Like genuinely, what a waste. Speaking of waste, the other show is I Promised You the Moon. Oh my gosh, you must be really shocked right now. No, but I literally have a full video on everything wrong with this show, so like go watch it and spare me having to rant about it. But yeah, even if it wasn't the sequel to one of my favorite shows ever, it would still be pretty disappointing. So it does seem fitting that this show is at the very end of my list. To conclude, Nadao Bangkok is a company that I genuinely appreciate and admire. And I hope they continue making quality shows with a quality cast. Because once again, them being responsible for a lot, if not most of my favorite Thai dramas is far from a coincidence. I wish they would work on their accessibility a bit more though. Because for me, it's really their #1 obstacle for now. And if they worked on it, the world would be their oyster. I'm excited to see where this company is going next, because their hard work has definitely paid off in becoming a fan favorite for many. As for you, I hope you enjoyed this video and tell me which company you'd like to see me cover next. I'll see you next time and have a great day.